Warning, this video contains spoilers for the video game Portal. Although I'm not sure why I'm telling you this, since a meme has been spoiling the main twist for the last 7 years. Good job, internet. You know, we should consider ourselves lucky. These days, the video game market is a wonderfully varied place, with games of all sorts being available at every price point imaginable. Gamers are finally starting to see the value of different lengths and price points for games, and not relying simply on an hours played counter to determine their worth. But back in the distant past of 2007, things were slightly different. For a major game company to ship a game that was only a few hours long would have been seen as crazy. So, Valve decided to sneak in a little experiment in their much-anticipated Orange Box, a game that has since become a pop culture phenomenon and changed our expectations of shorter games forever. Get ready, ladies and gents. It's time to start thinking with portals. Now, if you asked anyone what's so special about Portal, surprisingly enough, their answer is not likely going to be the actual portals, even though they're awesome. No, more than likely, you're going to hear about GLaDOS. And admittedly, GLaDOS is a fantastic character. Right from the game's opening, she's simultaneously taunting and teaching you, leading you through the game's levels with a dark sense of humor that clashes wonderfully with the game's polished, overly white art style. Thus, the game settles into a rhythm early on. You'll enter a chamber, and GLaDOS will make a t-shirt worthy quip, all while introducing you to a new mechanic or a new way to look at the portals. Heck, in the first few chambers, you don't even have a portal gun at all. Instead, these levels are designed around teaching you the mechanics of the portals themselves, and how one portal changing locations affects the other. Soon enough, you'll have access to a gun that can only fire one portal at a time, and only once you've mastered utilizing that will you earn complete control of the game's central mechanic. For the most part, Portal is a very straightforward game with very mind-bending gameplay. The concept of portals and getting your head around them could be overcomplicated if too much was thrown at the player at once. That's why the game introduces all these mechanics so slowly, with GLaDOS around to add humor to the situation and keep things from getting dull. The game seems very rigid, even telling you how many rooms you have left to go, and although GLaDOS may claim that certain chambers are unbeatable or unobserved, you start to accept these sayings and her twisted sense of humor are just jokes, just the game tried to be witty. But as you progress more and more and finally get past the stage of learning new mechanics and just starting to put them all together, you begin to see cracks in the charade. Brief peeks into a darker world behind the scenes, and GLaDOS' insanity somehow getting even more violent. Before you know it, you're at the final test chamber, and suddenly, the game's main twist is revealed. GLaDOS has been planning to kill you all along, and now that you've completed her tests, she has no more use for you. The cycle of test chambers is broken, and if you want to survive, you need to advance beyond the borders of what the game has shown you so far. GLaDOS is no longer completely in control, and the game's entire feel changes because of that. When we play video games, we generally find a comfort zone and accept the limitations the game imposes on us. Portal, meanwhile, simply masquerades as a basic puzzle game with a quirky host, only to pull back the curtain near the end and reveal a much deeper plot and a sense of urgency. Suddenly, everything you've learned so far has to be put to use to navigate the treacherous backstage workings of Aperture Science until you finally come face to face with GLaDOS herself. It's a boss fight that, taken alone, wouldn't be anything special. There's no crazy music, no over-the-top spectacle. It's really just another rocket shooting puzzle. But the build-up to this moment, all the taunting you've received, the perfect pacing of the journey up until this point, makes your final victory against GLaDOS something truly special. All in all, Portal only takes a couple of hours to complete, and to lessen the risk of backlash, it's easy to see why Valve decided to bundle Portal in with the Orange Box instead of immediately promoting it as a standalone game. But in retrospect, Portal truly does stand alone, and perhaps even above anything else in the collection. It's a game that uses its short length to its advantage, using it to manipulate the player's expectations and allowing it to perfectly pace both the relationship between the player and GLaDOS and the slow revelation that Aperture Science is more than just a quirky joke. It takes a mechanic that could have made for simply a fantastic puzzle game and transforms it into something more. And for teaching you to think with portals and then forcing you to think for yourself, I'd have to say that Portal is really freaking clever.